I've had so many requests and people talking to me about Bitcoin for the past few months. I've been pretty slow at this, but I need to teach you how to get started in Bitcoin. I know the concept of Bitcoin almost scares a lot of people, and they don't even want to like think about it because it sounds so complicated and unreal and a way to lose money and a scam and things like that. But it really isn't any of those things, and a lot of people think Bitcoin is the future of money, and it's an opportunity, guys. We're at that point where it's an opportunity still. A lot of people don't understand it. Those that do are getting way into it. A lot of huge names and huge banks and huge financial institutions are just now starting to get into Bitcoin, and so there's a lot of potential there. If you're kind of wondering what that is, Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. It's probably one of the oldest cryptocurrencies, but basically what it is it's not backed by anything. It's an online currency, right? There's without getting into too many details, there's basically an algorithm that spits out one new Bitcoin every 10 minutes or so, and there's these miners that are out there trying to find this Bitcoin that it spits out, and Bitcoin just basically is all, the value of it is just perceived. Okay, it's right now the Bitcoin is worth 4,000 US dollars, and there's nothing really backing it up. It's all digital. But we trust it, and so we trust that we can still buy things with Bitcoin the same way we trust that that piece of paper in your hand that's a dollar bill or a pound or whatever, we trust that that will be worth something, right? So there's kind of some perks to Bitcoin. People are like, well, why would I need Bitcoin, right? Well, I have banks and I can send digital coins and I can send digital money already. Why would I need a Bitcoin? A couple reasons. One of the big ones is when I buy or sell in Bitcoins, that transaction is recorded instantly among all Bitcoin users. There's a network of Bitcoin users, and we all record that transaction immediately. And that makes it really hard to have fraud. Okay, so we all record that, and we all verify. We have a lot of we all, this whole network verifies a transaction, and that makes it very hard for like fraud to be committed or for money to be stolen or anything like that, because there's this network of computers that all verify, and I don't understand it fully. I don't think most people do, besides these programmers that are getting into this stuff, but that's a big thing. Another big thing is you can do real person-to-person payments, and so when you PayPal or you Venmo or anything like that, you're not really doing a person-to-person payment, right? You have a bank, and you're going through a bank or an institution pretty much, and they're taking their cut, and they're tracking the money and things like that. And Bitcoin isn't like that. It's very unregulated. It's very person to person. I can pay a person in Europe right now instantly in Bitcoin, and the transaction is verified instantly. There's no fees. It's true person to person payments. Another reason is it's kind of less traceable. Bitcoin isn't controlled by any one government. It's kind of controlled by the whole community, which is now millions and millions of people. And so it can't be manipulated or anything like that. It can't, you can't print up 1 million Bitcoins and inflate the price of a Bitcoin. It's very hard to manipulate a Bitcoin. And then the last thing is there's no foreign transaction fees, which is awesome. So I want to talk about why you care. Like, oh, that's great. Why you care? Well, let's think about this. Do you ever wish maybe Apple, you hear about the Apple stock example a lot. Like, oh man, if I had just invested in Apple in 2006, before the iPhone came out, I would be a billionaire right now. Because these things come out and people don't trust them and people don't know about them, and therefore you don't, you miss out on a lot of opportunities that way. And Bitcoin is an opportunity for you. It's an opportunity for you to make money, and to make a lot of money. And so here's kind of like an idea of what I'm talking about. This is the price of Bitcoin in 2010, July of 2010. Bitcoin was 8 cents. Okay, so one Bitcoin cost 8 cents of July of 2010. So if you were an opportunist in July of 2010, you said, I need, this looks like it's got potential. I don't really get it. Probably, it might explode. It might not. I'm gonna put $100 into it. I'm not gonna put in all my whole savings or anything, but I'll put $100 in just in case it goes anywhere. Well, guess what? Each of those 8-cent Bitcoins is now worth $4,000. Okay, they say that if you'd invested in 2010 in Bitcoin, $100, you have $75 million right now. And there's people that did that. They invested $100 in 2010, and they have $75 million now because they saw an opportunity. They weren't scared to act on it. And we're still in the middle of that. There are people that say Bitcoin could quadruple or even go up to $50,000 a coin. They're respectable people saying that. because it's still in its infancy. Even though it's $4,000 for one Bitcoin now, it's still in its infancy. There's still tons of people that are learning and understanding about Bitcoin. There's still tons of really rich banks and institutions that are just figuring it out and realizing that they can purchase Bitcoins and invest in Bitcoins and things like that. And so that's all good, right? And you're kind of like, oh, how do I own this? And that's kind of what I want to focus this video on, is how you can purchase Bitcoin. It's very, very easy. When you buy Bitcoin, you have pretty much just it's almost like a bank account. It's a virtual wallet. It's a virtual wallet where you store your Bitcoin. And there's a lot of places that you can basically have this virtual wallet. Kind of the most secure and easiest to use and most common one is a place called CoinBase. And there's a link below to CoinBase. A cool note: if you sign up to CoinBase through that link below, you'll actually get $10 in free Bitcoin. Once you have to spend $100, you have to buy $100 worth of Bitcoin first, but then you get $10 in free Bitcoin, and I do as well. So it's a great deal for everybody. It's a way to get a little bit of free Bitcoin. But this program called CoinBase just makes it very, very simple. So sign up on the link below. It's a little hard to add your bank account. They actually have to verify it. They're gonna, it takes a couple days to verify it and make sure everything's good, and that's good. Coinbase is very, very thorough, and they make sure that people aren't cheating the system in any way, and so that's why it takes a few days. But once you get there, there's 3 kinds of Bitcoins that Coinbase deals in. There's the main Bitcoin. There's another cryptocurrency called Ethereum, which has a lot of potential. And there's one called Litecoin, which, as you can see, it's been going down for the past week. And I don't really invest in Litecoin. It's not one I'm really familiar with. Haven't heard a lot about it. But these are the 2 that are big right now: Bitcoin and Ethereum. As you can see, it's just going up, right? It's got up and down, but over the trend, over the last month, over the last week, over the last year, it just goes up. Okay. And so once you get your money, you're going to have accounts. Okay. So you're going to connect your bank account, and then you're going to need to move money, US dollars, like actual physical money, into your Coinbase account. Okay. And then you're going to have a Coinbase money account. This is just physical cash. When you move from your bank to here, it's just physical cash. Once that US dollar shows, and I've transferred a lot of my stuff to another platform, so that's why it's looking this way, but it's a more complicated platform, and this is a simpler way to do it. But once your US dollars, let's say you move $1,000 in, then your US dollars will show $1,000. You can now use that $1,000 to purchase Litecoin or Ethereum or Bitcoin, and it's really, really easy. You go to buy, sell, and say, all right, what do you want to buy? See how simple that is. I want to buy Bitcoin. And I can actually pull directly from my bank now that it's been linked. So Bank of American Fork. Maybe I'll blur out that checking. I don't know. But I could purchase. It says, do you want to enter a number in US dollars? So I could enter 1,000. I could get $1,000 of Bitcoin, which would be about a quarter of a Bitcoin. Or I could say I just want to buy 1 Bitcoin, and it would say, okay, well, that's gonna be $4,000. So I can enter it either way. And then you're gonna click buy Bitcoin. And it's that easy. It's going to charge you a fee, and so that's pretty standard. If you want, there's a way to lower that fee, but it's kind of a more complicated platform. It's called GDAX, and I would just, after you sign up for Coinbase, they work synonymously with each other. You'll need a Coinbase account anyway. Sign up for Coinbase, and then go look for a program called GDAX, and kind of figure out how to use that, and then you'll be able to get kind of a cheaper transaction fee. But to start with, just go to Coinbase and seriously just buy a little bit of Bitcoin. It's not that hard. It'll show up in your account, and then you'll be able to look at your accounts. You'll be able to look at each one and say, hey, I have this much in my Bitcoin account, this much in my Litecoin or wallet, this much in my US dollar wallet, and it's very easy to do. You can, I'm not going to go into this, but you can send Bitcoin. You can do all kinds of things, but for the most part, that's an easy way to buy Bitcoin. Okay. I'm a huge fan of the buy and hold strategy. Okay, so just buy some Bitcoin, whatever you can afford to kind of forget about. If it's $100, if it's $500, whatever it is, buy some Bitcoin and just forget about it. Just let it sit, and you saw the trend, right? Let's go back to that dashboard. It's just been going up, right, and very much so in the past little while. But the trend is up. You can buy and hold, and you're probably going to do fine. I get a little more into 2 other strategies. So the first one I do is I kind of try to look for patterns. And so if you look in the past week, you can kind of see patterns. So for example, you can kind of see, right, how there's a line. Oh, you can't see my hand. There's a line. If you follow my pointer here, there's kind of a general line going along right here, a straight line, right? And it kind of hits that line and then it bounces and it goes up. See, when it hits the line right there, it bounces, and then it hits the same general trend line and goes up. Same thing there. And then here it dives all the way through that line, but then it starts a new line and it starts kind of going up again. And so what you can do is you can kind of look at this general trend and you can try to sell up here, and you can try to buy, you know, right down here. So you'd buy and then you kind of wait, maybe sell it right about here. You made a couple $100. You can sit. Oh, looks like you missed your chance. Buy in again because it looks like it's going up. Wait till it has a dip. Oh, okay, sell. No. Or yeah, sell at the top and then wait till it has a dip. Okay, big dip, buy. Maybe you buy here, maybe you buy here, and then you sit on it for a while until you've made some money. Sell it. Maybe right here you've made a couple $100. It dips. Okay, so that's kind of a harder way of doing it, but it does work. There are a lot of people that do kind of that in more complicated ways, and they make money off Bitcoin. The way I like to do it is what's called kind of momentum, and so I'll look at it and I'll wait till Bitcoin kind of seems to be on a roll. So if you look back to this week one, you can kind of see it kind of has these breakouts where suddenly it just shoots up, right, for like a day. Shoots up and then it goes down and kind of balances out, and then you'll kind of see it go on a breakout and shoots up for a day or two, dies, breakout, shoots up, right? You can see these breakouts. So what I'll try to do is I'll just sit with my money in nothing, and then right when I see Bitcoin kind of seeing this breakout, you'll see it happening. You'll kind of see it'll get hot. You'll see a lot of buys going on. You'll see the price kind of starting to go up really quickly, and you can purchase right then and just sit on it for a couple of hours, a matter of hours, maybe a day, and you can sell it at the end of the spike. Very easy to do, and that's kind of been my strategy that's worked really well. So I put about half of my money in long-term Bitcoin investment. So it's just sitting there, just hanging out, and you know, hanging out for the long run. And then the other half of my money, I'm kind of slowly buying and selling and buying and selling, and then kind of trying to buy right when it starts to go up, and selling at the end and waiting for it to balance out again. You can do either one. One of them requires more time, and you can end up missing out on a lot of money or losing money. And one of them is a lot simpler, and both of them work, and there are investors doing both. But that's a really simple way to get into Bitcoin. You sign up for this CoinBase account, get your free $10 in Bitcoin, and I would buy Bitcoin and Ethereum. Those are kind of the two big ones right now. You don't have to buy, you know, Bitcoin's $4,000, but you can buy like a decimal amount of a Bitcoin. I could buy $10 in Bitcoin, no problem, and I would own 0.00001 of a Bitcoin. So whatever you can afford to put in there, put it in there. Don't don't sell your house and put it into Bitcoin. Don't take your whole savings and put it into Bitcoin. Put money in Bitcoin that you can afford to lose and you can afford to have sit there for a few years, and then watch and see what happens, and hopefully good things happen.